Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And we got a banger for you guys. I know I've been gone for a while. I haven't made a video in almost a month, I believe. I'm super excited to be back, and I'm going to be back getting on the grind, the juiciness. Drake's going to be dropping soon. I'll be bringing content for that. But for today's video, I listened to My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy for the first time in 2023, and I thought I would make a video about it because it's a really big album, and you guys are probably like, how have you not listened to it? But I just got into listening to albums not too long ago, and I was going in order of his discography. I've loved all of his projects, and this is what was next. I listened to it 13 years almost after the release, so I'm super excited to get into this. If you guys enjoyed this type of content, hit that like and subscribe button, and let's get into it. So like I said, this is my first time listening to the album way after the release date, and it is his 5th studio album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think I could be wrong. I had listened to Power, and I think that might be the only song I listened to the full song before I listened to this album. I obviously knew Runaway, and I knew All of the Lights, but those were the only songs I knew. But I heard the bit snippets of the Runaway piano, and that's it. And for All of the Lights, I've heard the trumpets and a little bit of Rihanna's part, but that is it. That is all I have heard of this album. So I was super excited to listen to it. So I'm basically going to be doing this like I would do a regular album review, but for an older album. So let me know if you guys enjoy me doing older classic albums, because there's a lot of other ones I would love to do if you guys do enjoy these. But yeah, from what I've listened to so far, which was in order: College Dropout, Late Registration, 808s, no, Graduation, and then 808s, and then it's My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I don't even know if I can pick a favorite. It changes all the time. If I had to pick right now, I would say Graduation is probably my favorite, but it's literally switched between Late Registration, College Dropout, and Graduation. 808s is my least favorite of them, but I still think it's a solid record. It's not on the level of the 3 I said before, but Kanye just knows how to make bangers. He knows how to make great music, and he knows how to make great projects. Alright, so we're just going to go by song. We're going to go down the list of songs, and we're going to talk about each and every song. Some I'll have more to say about others than others. I meant not others. Okay. Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. So first song is Dark Fantasy. It starts off with this, like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like this nice, beautiful, powerful choir, and it's saying, can we get much higher? And then it's just like a really sweet, motivating, it's just, it gets you feeling good about yourself, makes you feel good. And then it switches to Kanye. The beat goes to an upbeat, more fun, jubilistic beat. I don't even know really how to explain it. It makes it almost seem like a completely different song. And I like the song to start off the record because it kind of goes around, and it seems way different in different parts, from like Kanye's verse to the "Can we get much higher?" Like, it seems so different and doesn't really seem fitting for the song, but it makes it fit, if you get what I'm saying. But it's a really good song to start off the record. Kanye always has really good starts to his albums. He knows what he's doing. He's cracked. Kanye's the GOAT, That's just how it is. So let's go into the second song. We got Gorgeous, which is one of my favorites off of the album personally, especially Kid Cudi's chorus. It's so crispy and catchy, and I've listened to the song so many times. I just think his chorus is so catchy. Like I said, I love it. I also like the simple guitar strings. It adds a nice touch to the track. I think Kanye's verse is good. I think it's good, but I would say Kid Cudi definitely had the stronger part on the song, in my personal opinion. I think Kanye's voice is maybe a little too auto-tuned, at least for my liking. A lot of people may like his sound like that, but I prefer it maybe toned down a little bit, but overall, it's a pretty good song. Then you got Power, which, yes, everybody knows this song. A lot of younger people know this song, or use it for hype songs, or hype videos, you see it and all this, but I do not care. I genuinely do not care. This song is an absolute slapper. It is an absolute banger. It's a headbanger. Keeps you locked in the whole song, with the start, the clapping, the hey, I just can't even explain it. It's so fire. Kanye comes in so hard, and he has some of the strongest mic presence. He's spitting flames. He's going ham, and it's some of the strongest you will hear on a Kanye song. He's just talking his talk for 4 minutes straight, and I love it. I love it. It's a great hype song if you're an athlete even, or it's just in general. It just gets you hyped up. It gets you in the mood. It makes you feel like you can just beat some PRs and lifting or whatever. It's a banger. It's a banger, and I love it. Next is All of the Lights, which I'd heard bits and pieces before, but not a ton of it, like just the Rihanna part, like I said, like a little bit of it, and the trumpets at the beginning, but that's about it. And shout out to my cousins. They always told me I needed to listen to the song, but I'm like, nah. I'm waiting for the album. I'm going to wait until I get it with the whole album experience. It's always funny. They would just talk about the song or say like the title, and I'd be like, don't spoil the song for me, you know? But anyways, they were right. It is an absolute banger! Sorry about that. But anyways, like I said, it's an absolute banger. It's enough to get you to, I don't know, grab a baseball bat and just start whacking. Just start whacking your grandparents' dogs or something, you know? It's just so heat from the very beginning when it says, all of the lights, loud, and then it's super hype. The triumphant trumpets are amazing. The trumpets sound amazing. Then Rihanna does her thing, like she always does. Rihanna is crazy. She's one of the best female pop singers ever, in my opinion. And I think you can make the argument she is one of the best pop singers when it comes to featuring in hip-hop songs. You have this one, and you have ones with Eminem, and they all go so hard. She drops amazing features. She is always on her A game. And then you got Kanye. You got Kanye on this song also. You know, it is his album, but oh my goodness. It's like Power, but in my opinion, even better. It is so hype, and Kanye's verse is phenomenal. It's amazing. All the Lights is just a banger. I will always love it, but Kanye goes crazy. It's just enough to start making you cutting your own arm off and just start taking bites out of it and eating it and posting videos of you eating yourself on the gram. You know, it's just so good. It's so good. All of the Lights, banger. Then you got Monster, which the beginning of it starts sounding almost a little spooky, and it talks about shooting the lights out and to hide until it's bright out. And if you're willing to sacrifice your life, kind of spooky stuff, you know, spooky. Sorry about that. But then Rick Ross comes in ham, basically about how he's a monster. Him and Kanye have both pretty solid verses, in my opinion. Jay-Z has a fire verse. In one part, he basically starts listing monsters, and you're like, when you think about that, you know, someone just listing something, normally it's generally not very good if they're listing stuff like counting or listing things, like I said, but Jay-Z is Jay-Z. Jay-Z does Jay-Z things, you know, and it sounds fire. You got Nicki Minaj, who actually has a pretty good verse, in my opinion, and it's super unique. She has a new sound that I have never heard it at least before. It's funky, it's fun, and entertaining to listen to. She's like, la 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 la. I don't even really know how to explain the way she sounded, but it was way different. She sounded way more animated than normal, and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool and a good way to mix things up. Then you got So Appalled, which is one of my favorite songs off of the album, and I think it might be the most underrated, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of people saying that it is their least favorite on Album of the Year, or one of their least favorite, and it is one of the least rated, or the lowest rated songs on the album. And I think it's great. I think it is a great song. I think this song is absolutely heat. It is so fire, and the beat is really nice. I really like the production on the song. And Holy Pumpkin Spice Lattes, Jay-Z's verse is amazing. Oh my gosh. And Kanye has a pretty strong verse too. I will say that also, but let's get into Jay-Z. Oh my gosh, this is why he is one of the GOATs of the rap game. You cannot not deny his greatness. Lyricism, wordplay, and his voice is freaking sexy. He's just so good. He goes absolutely ballistic with his verse, and it's my favorite feature on the album, which may be a really, really unique opinion, or you guys might think I'm crazy for not saying some that I will talk about later in the album, but I think it's an amazing feature. He has so many amazing lines and bars. Here's some of them that I've written down. How should I begin this? I'm just so offended. How am I even mentioned by all these effing beginners? That's fire. It's super heat, and basically saying how you should not be talking about him when you're not at his level. And a super iconic bar that gets me going crazy every time. This one, I'm sure most of you have heard it, whether you knew it was from the song or not. It's iconic. It's Dark Knight Feelin', Die and Be a Hero, or Live Long Enough to See Yourself Become a Villain. Just a great bar and a phenomenal verse by one of the greatest to ever hold and grasp a mic. Just so good, so good. Next up, we got Devil in a New Dress, which is another phenomenal song. I will say this though, don't hate on me, please do not have aliens come to my house and abduct me. I think it's an amazing song. I do think it is in the upper echelon of the album, but I've seen a lot of people say that they think it's the best song on the album, and I can see it. The production's great, and Rick Ross has a phenomenal verse, but I prefer, personally, off my liking, so I prefer a few other songs. I would say Devil in a New Dress would be around my third, fourth, fifth favorite. I don't know, top 5 for sure, but there is a few that I do enjoy better. So don't hate on me, but that is just my personal opinion. So maybe I think it's a little overhyped, but also I have only listened to the album a little bit. I have only been sitting on it for about 2 weeks, and a lot of people have been sitting on it for almost 13 years, so I can't say this is like my final opinion because I have no idea. My song opinions change all the time. There's always albums I listen to and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are my favorite songs. And then years down the line, they're not the ones I'm replaying as much. So you never know, but that is just my opinion off of the first couple listens. I will say Kanye has a really solid verse and the beat is really nice. The production is phenomenal on this song. And Rick Ross, his feature is absolutely fire. It's a phenomenal verse. Second best, in my opinion, feature off the album behind the Jay-Z one, which I can see why people say it is the best. It is great. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize Rick Ross was that nice with it. This verse was crazy. It's just one of the best features I have ever heard, honestly. And it makes this song amazing. Then you got Runaway. And oh my goodness, I've been missing out on this absolute masterpiece of a song for way too long. I always heard this song was amazing, and I always heard people saying it's the best song off the album or it is one of Kanye's best, but I really had no idea because I hadn't heard it, you know? And it is my favorite song off the album, which I know, maybe a severely basic answer, but I just can't explain it. It is so good. There is a reason that it is so loved and talked about. It's not like it's a bad song to people. It's just, I don't know. It's just, first you start with the simple piano, which I have never heard anything like that in a hip-hop song in my life. Normally it's just rapping or some beats start off the song before the rapping, or I don't know. I've just never heard the simple piano before going into the song, and it transitions from the piano into the beat and the sample, which is absolutely perfect. The production on this whole song is immaculate. The production on this song is unlike anything I have heard in the hip-hop genre at the moment, which obviously I haven't heard a ton of stuff, but from what I have heard in my lifetime, it is one of the most unique sounds and uniquely and phenomenally produced songs. Kanye starts off saying that this girl has been putting up with him for way too long and talking about how ungrateful he can be. And he says, let's have a toast for the douchebags, the a-holes, and the jerk-offs who are never taking work off. And I realize he's referring to himself, saying he's a bad guy and very undeserving of this girl's love. And he won't spend enough time with her, pay attention with her enough, like he won't take work off. And he doesn't treat her right, and he tells her just to run away as fast as she can. Those are just some simple parts of the song that I talked about, and it's just a beautifully written song, and the message is phenomenal. Truly one of Kanye's best songs of all time, and one of the best I've heard. Runaway is a classic track that I think could live on forever. It is such a good song, so unique, and I don't know if we will ever hear a song like it again. And you start to have a little bit of a dip in the album, and this is one of my things keeping it from a perfect album. I think I honestly could make the argument if the last 3 songs weren't on here. Which, I mean, they are not bad songs, but they definitely are not on the same level as a lot of these tracks that I had already talked about. But next you got Hell of a Life, which I think is probably the worst song on the album, in my opinion. I think the production's not great. I'm not a fan of the beat. I just think it is definitely the worst beat and production on the album. Kanye puts up a pretty average performance. Nothing bad. It is not a bad song. And I think the chorus is really catchy. I do like the chorus, but overall it's a pretty average song for Kanye, which this would be a good song to a lot of people, but when I'm saying compared to The Runaways, The Devil in a New Dress, The Power, all of these songs, I do think it is at the bottom of the album. Then you got Blame Game featuring John Legend, and it's a pretty nice song. I do think it is also towards the bottom, but I think it's a good song. I think this one is definitely better than Hell of a Life. John Legend puts up a pretty solid performance, and he has a really beautiful voice. John Legend is one of the best male singers of the last decade or so. He has a great voice, puts up a really solid performance. It's really catchy. It's just a really nice song. I don't have a ton to say about it, but it's just, it's just a nice flowy song. And Kanye also has a pretty solid verse. Overall, I think it's a pretty solid track. Then you got Lost in the World, where it starts with Kanye. It's a little too auto-tuned, but it actually sounds nice. And then he's just doing this little part, and then it goes into, it sounds like a choir almost, and it sounds like, something to get you going, motivated, get you up. Sounds like something to get you up and get you motivated, get you going to have a great day. It sounds like a good song to, start your day off with. And yeah, it's not a bad song. I don't have a ton to say about it, but I do think it's also towards the bottom. Like I said, I think the 3 last songs are the worst on the album, but it's not a bad song. It's not a bad song, so I'm not hating. I do think it is towards the bottom, but it is a nice song. It is a pretty nice song. You got Who Will Survive in America, which I'm not going to talk about really. It's not even really a song. It's just talking, and it's just beats for 1 minute and 37 seconds. It's basically just the end of the album, and it's just an outro basically. But yeah, that's it for my review for My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. At least talking about the songs, I will say I can't really place it on how much I like it compared to the other albums I've listened to in the discography, the 4 others. I will say it is definitely better than 808s in my opinion, but compared to the other 3, I've listened to the other 3 for almost a year now, and this one is just really fresh, so I don't know where I can place it yet. But if I had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, I think I'd give it around a 4. Did I scare you? I was joking. I'm not going to Anthony Fantano, you guys. I think I would say around an 8.5. I could see it going higher. I could see it around a 9. I think a 9 would be respectable. Now, perfect, I don't know about that, but 8.5 to a 9, it's a phenomenal record. I could definitely see it raising in the future, but it's just so fresh on my mind, and I haven't had a lot of time to keep it in my rotation and all that, but as of now, I would put it around an 8.5. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the video, and if you guys are still watching, let me know what is your favorite song off of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, or what your favorite Kanye album is if you're still watching. So it really would mean a lot if you guys hit that like and subscribe button, hit that post notification bell if you want to be notified for my next up and coming videos. And that's it for this one. Peace out.